Welcome back, my little recusants. We are on floor 100 of the Via Infinito, and we are just equipping Yuna with the Highway Winds and Lady Luck because we're going to be doing a little bit of bribing to get rid of Paragon, the fiend version of Lord Zayon, Yunalesca's lover. Now, it was a little bit silly of me because I could have and should have oversold him by just finding more ultimate weapons and fighting them. But anyway, pay him a mill and ask him to kindly, sack off. Now, if Paragon decides to attack, because he attacks way more regularly in his non-oversold variant, but you're able to give him the money, he gets 8 dark matters, and they're going to come in clutch for the next battle. Talk to you after the cutscene.
So, you're Trema.
Yup, he's unsent.
Please tell us, why did you hide the spheres of Spira's past?
Humans, so hopelessly entangled with their past. I had to seal away that past in order to guide them to the future.
So, what is that supposed to mean?
Well, what happened to everyone's spheres then?
Destroyed, turned to fireflies, and scattered.
How could you?
To guide the youth charged with Spira's future, I provided them with a training academy. But then came the call, and before long, I realized my error. In sin, Spira's youth had an enemy. Without it, they waved their swords at shadows, eager for a foe. Their hearts, you see, were not made of the same tempered steel as their swords. I knew what I had to do to forge their hearts anew. Erase the past. Expunge it. Nostalgia makes the heart feeble. It is the heart's nemesis. Only one who renounces everything possesses the strength to transcend anything. High Summoner Yuna, you, too, have forsaken much of your past. Now, show me the strength that you have gained!
So, we are now thrown straight into the battle with Trema. We are going to want Yuna back as a mascot, so just immediately change.
The unenlightened shall fall.
And we're going to try and push Protect and Shell on Riku. And again, looking back on this, I can come up with better strategies already. Because Riku needs to mix 2 dark matters to give us invincibility. And then with that invincibility, we need to move Riku and Pain we need to get Riku to mix 2 dark matters immediately before something bad can happen.
The unenlightened shall fall.
And now we see the problem. Now Pain doesn't have invincibility. So we're now going to have to mix 2 dark matters again, which isn't great. But while we have Miracle Drink on Pain now as well, we should have moved everybody around the higher power garment grid. And obviously Yuna isn't on the higher power garment grid, so that's a bit tricky as well. But for everybody else, we are going to be doubling their max HP with a stamina tonic. But if we actually had Pain move through all of her higher power grid, she could have been doing 30,000 damage with Catling Gun, which obviously would have done so much. So again, it's just all little ways that we could have improved these strategies. But essentially, Catling Gun and just doing invincibilities with Riku more sparingly, hopefully, because we actually had enough to do 4 more periodically, you know? Now, what's interesting as well is Trema can inflict stop. So if you're going to put up things like Final Wall, etc., use Chocobo Wings to remove stop. Because if you cast Haste, it will bounce off your Reflect, and it will give Trema Haste, which is the last thing you want to do. So we're just going to be giving Riku an elixir now, just, you know, she still has the Miracle Drink on. And again, there's little things, like what really I should have done was Bribe with Riku and have her on first. Because we don't need her to necessarily break the HP limit. And if Yuna and Pain both had their break damage limits, they would have been doing maybe 30k, 25k. And this would have been over a lot quicker. Because literally, you know, Pain's done 3 of these. Would have been 90,000, like. Or, yeah.
I know nothing of defeat.
And Trema's HP is 1 off a million, so, you know, if we're only doing roughly 10,000 to go, it's an awful lot of stuff we have to go through then. But as you can see, Pain has HP into the 23,000s, so that's really good. And you see, because Pain now is desynchronized, Pain's invincibility is going to wear off at different times to Riku and Yuna's invincibility. And so it all ends up a little bit pear-shaped. But as you can see here, he missed Riku, and the reason for that is she is stopped. So once again, having Riku just do the couple of mixes and move back to her ribboned mascot has its benefits as well. But it's literally just the case of, you know, keeping your final wall up, keeping your regen up. And this is where it gets tricky and you realize, oh, Riku is stopped. And then I just stupidly go to cast a haste, which then bounces onto Trema, which is then just an absolute nightmare, because then Trema is attacking 1,000,000 miles a second, and we're just in big trouble.
Know your place.
But the dark matters allowing us to Miracle Drink is just so clutch. And as well as that, you could even have Riku Miracle Drink for Paragon if you grinded some dark matters earlier. You could literally then have Paragon be Miracle Drinked, and so he's not dealing damage, and you can take time to bribe him. You know, so there's definitely stuff that can be done better. But yeah, I accidentally cast haste, and then I'm like, oh lord, look how fast this old man is running! And I'm like, quick! quick! Get the Dispel Tonics! Where the hell are the Dispel Tonics? Get them now! And then I'm like, oh, I'll use a Chocobo Feather first to, like, reactivate Riku. And then she was using Holy randomly, which was just hilarious too. And I was like, alright. And I'm like, Riku, can you just use a Dispel Tonic really quickly? So this old man no longer has haste. Thanks so much. And then we just keep on Moogle beaming. But again, Pain now no longer has invincibility, so you should get invincibility up. But realistically, Pain should have been moving through her sphere grid, or her garment grid, and getting break damage limit. And I realized this like way too late. Like another 10 minutes into this fight. And then it becomes so messy because then Pain dies mid-transforming while she doesn't have invincibility. And I'm like, oh my god. Nightmare. So, come in with a bit better plan. Come in with the plan and strategy of, okay, we're going to have invincibility and then we're going to activate our passive effects to, you know, get break damage limit on our super powerful characters that can do nearly 40k damage. And then while our characters are invincible, if we're doing more damage and getting his HP way lower, we don't need as many miracle drinks, etc, etc, etc. So like, you know, there's definitely things that can be improved upon, you know? And then I'm thinking, right, let's do the twin stars. Oh, I mixed instead of using them singularly. I was like, oh my god, just give Pain a twin star so she has 0 MP cost, please. And like the Alchemist just has basically instant item usage, you know? But yeah, Riku, we need to be getting that dark matter stuff up again, love. My dear. Let's go. Oh god. Very scary fight. This old man does not pull any punches. But I mean, he's the most dangerous boss in the game. But Yuna with the AoE cures, massive healing, which is great. And now I'm like, oh sweet mother of god, I've run out of miracle drink. So now it's just the case of, well look at, Pain has nearly 30k health. So I'm not that worried about Pain dropping spontaneously. Because we have X potions and they will heal a buttload. And if we have Mega potions, they will heal for 4k each. Really quickly. So that's always a good thing too. But that's pretty much the fight. We basically have one maybe hairy situation when we get towards the end when Yuna drops and Riku drops and then it just becomes a whole mess then when we try and like move Pain through different spheres or different Dresspheres like. When I eventually think, oh actually I'll move her through her, you know, garment grid that lets her break treble or quad 9. Probably really useful for a boss that we are literally just shooting with Moogle Beam and Catling Gun. And again, if I was to go completely from the beginning again, I would have had Riku as our gambler, or even Riku as an alchemist. I would have definitely oversold Paragon. So I would have oversold Paragon. I would have then Miracle Drinked with Riku as an alchemist. Probably kept her on higher power. I could have then moved her to Lady Luck, done the bribe. That was fine. Like the million gil, I don't mind losing. And then I could have legitimately gone to this fight again, used another miracle drink, moved everybody through all the gates, and then Pain and Yuna would have been doing maybe 50k a round, because Pain would have been doing 30k, Yuna might have been doing like 25, 30k as well, and then between the two of them, it's like, yeah, we're doing 50k, and then we just have to do 18 attacks and it's over. And like, legitimately, I think we would have gotten through 18 attacks within the span of those 3 other miracle drinks, 100%. I think it would have been grand. So yeah, we're just gonna keep on throwing the owl mega potions manually from the items to keep us going. But as I say, I'm looking back and I'm saying each of these could have been 3 times as much damage if we had have just broken the damage limit while we were invincible. But hey ho, you live and you learn. And if nothing else, I'm proving that you can survive, you know, for all this time. Longer and longer. And my thinking on giving Pain more MP recovery is that, does he then stick to MP lowering damage when people have low MP? And does he then try and get them to 0 MP if they have high MP? So again, using the Alchemist, they are healing double all the potency of all their items. But again, the idea that just under 10k could have been 30k all this time is really, really frustrating. But while we're here and just kind of going through our bits and pieces, since this battle is a bit rinse and repeat, I will go through my personal favourite Dresspheres on each girl, why I like them, and whether they're good for like beginning, mid or end game. And I have to say my number 1 fashion-wise has to be the songstress on Yuna. It just is iconic. It's like Len's dress. It gets the most like CGI cutscenes. It's just really pretty. It's like the debut of the new Yuna. It's like an extension of like the theme of the whole 10-2 story, which is basically, you know, when you get a second lease on life, it is about living life to the fullest, having fun, and just shaking off that cowl of despair that Spira was under for like all that time, you know? In terms of abilities, Songstress is a support and debuff champion. Like once you get Sleepy Shuffle on there, you're just putting things to absolute sleep. Nothing's attacking you. There's no need for healing. You can just have your offensive attacks go all the way through. So that's my thoughts on that one. I have to say I like Riku as an alchemist. I feel like it's linking back to her origins in 10, using her mix ability and like just to be able to stack. I know I'm using items now, but like we're in the end game scenario here, but for normal quote unquote gameplay, you can just stash mega potions or stash elixirs and be perfectly fine and dandy. There's no issue whatsoever with with this as your best heal bot in the game. And then for Pain, I have to say I like her as a Dark Knight, but the mascot Catling gun just getting us a bunch of achievements with the fact that Catling gun does physical damage and ignores protect and everything else. You know, it's proving an absolute treat here for Trema. But like, I always kind of feel like Mascot's in a bit of a league of its own. So and the one for Pain that I really liked is the Dark Knight. It's one of those ones that, again, it's like a hidden reward kind of dress, in that you have to kind of work kind of hard to get it before in the underground Baval. And then it's like super dark and edgy, and like you just have an AoE damage attack. So like, you know, the AoE healing of Alchemist and the AoE damage of Dark Knight. And then, you know, the AoE debuffs or ailments on Yuna's Songstress. Really, really powerful stuff. Now, when you start to see Meteor, you know you've kind of hit the kind of halfway threshold for his bits and bobs, which is grand. In terms of what mission is the most memorable, I like the one where Yuna and Co give Zanarkand back to the monkeys. It feels kind of, you know, really solemn, really kind of just Yuna fighting back and making sure that, like, that sacred place to her is kept sacred, and that, like, all the sacrifices of, like, her father and all these other summoners of the past is just respected, and not just like, oh, look, here's where Yunalesca killed Jecht and used his soul in a corrupt faith ritual that kept us all enslaved for thousands of years. It's like, you know, if it was sold as really deeply respectful tours that showed the true history of Spira, okay. But the man was literally having like scavenger hunts and like people pay money for clues and stuff. So it was very obviously just a purely business venture. And like Riku said herself, it's like you turn the ruins of home into a theme park. Just not very appropriate. Like, people died. Like, have some compassion, bro. But I really liked that mission where we kind of took back Zanarkand. In terms of like my favorite chapter, it has to be chapter 3. Like the whole, because like I kind of view chapter 3 like it's not any individual mission, but like the story part of chapter 3 with, you know, the dark aeons and the faith all going wild and everything. It's like people forgetting to respect the past and then thinking, oh, we can just like burn it all down, or, you know, summoners are useless, blah, 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 blah. And yet, like, it takes the combined effort of Yuna and her friends to take down these spirits that, without their intervention, Sin would also still be alive. You know, it took the faith sacrificing themselves, and by extension, like, Tidus being sacrificed along with it, for Sin to finally be gone. And, as I say, we're now moving Riku through the grid, which I eventually copped. Oh yeah, the grids have auto abilities. I should probably move all that. Because I want to scan Trema and see how much HP he had. That's why. That is right, that is right, that is right. I am caught up. And I'm literally realizing, oh, we had like just under 1 million health. Fabulous. We love that for ourselves. So again, he's up at, you know, 31,000, and you're literally, or, you know, 310,000, I should say. But again, if we were doing 30,000 to go, we'd be milling through hundreds of thousands in 3 attacks. So, like, I definitely would have been completely finished by now. So it's just a wee bit frustrating. And then I'm like panicking because I'm like, oh my god, Yuna is very low. Yuna is very, very low. Oh my god, Yuna is so low. She's in like the 3000s. What am I supposed to do? And then I'm like, X potion on Yuna. Go, go, go. So hopefully Pain gets that potion over. Which she does. Good girl. And now I'm like, oh yeah. Like, Riku can now break the damage limit, I guess. And then I eventually go, oh wait, couldn't Pain do that? I knew Yuna couldn't because we have her on a completely different garment grid, but as I say, this is where should have done Riku as the gambler. But yeah, I loved the third chapter of the story. Hands down the worst chapter is chapter 4. Like, the saving grace is the 1,000 words FMV super beautiful music video. But like chapter 4 is just so uneventful. It's like, do you want to look at a couple of comm spheres and then do one mission? 2 missions, like a mission to get the High Pillows, a mission to do the clearing out of the Thunder Plains cave, like the other cave where the dragon was that was going to eat all the people. And here's where things get messy. Oh boy. Just get Pain back to... Oh god. And then you see it stops Pain. And it does so much damage. Like, oh my god. And then like just the Moogle beam here was the mistake then. Because it's literally like, oh, she's so weak. Oh, there it goes. And now I'm like, oh, we're totally screwed. We are totally screwed. She has lost her 0 MP cost. She's lost her double HP. She's now so low. Like, it's so bad. It's so incredibly bad. Please, please don't let me die at this point. Please let me get my characters back to, like, where they were. And then I'm like, oh my god, I used Pain as an alchemist and not... Oh, I just start to panic. I just start to go to everything that I shouldn't be going to. And now Yuna is like on death's door as well. Everyone's in like the 3000s. Pain is gone again. I'm like, oh lord. Oh no, 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 no. And this was like, I had invincibility. I could have done all this chopping and changing with invincibility. And now look, we're like all in the yellow. And I'm like, holy sweet mother of God. Pain, just get up. Just get up and change back to mascot, please. Please, Pain. Please. Just sphere change for the love of God. Oh, it was so stressful. And I literally was like, this is a nightmare. If I can't get Pain back, I can't, you know, be able to do Cactar damage. So I'm literally like, please, please, just let her sphere change back. And now I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, we're not doing too good, but we're gonna Moogle Beam. That was so dangerous. That was so dangerous. He does such high damage. Oh my god. And yeah, it's because of the auto protect. He's doing like 500 with the auto protect, but then like obviously that's half damage. So he's obviously doing 1k and then 2k. So, but look at this. Look at this damage with one go of the break damage limit. Nearly 40k. I was so stupid. I was just so stupid for not doing that. So yeah. End of the day, guys. End of the day, guys. Just break the damage limit with Pain and Yuna. Have Riku be on, you know, the miracle drink from the start. And we're going to be done super quick. Alchemist is a must. The mixing of really powerful bits and pieces is really good. Yeah. So anyway, that's going to be this episode because we're going to have another cutscene to kind of close out the Trema fight. But thanks so much for being here with me. I hope you can appreciate this as a guide format because as much as I'm showing you that, like, yes. Oh, this is epic though. This is epic. His battle quotes are top tier. Like, the man is 157 years old, doing Kung Fu master level shenanigans. And yeah, here we are. Ultman nearly taking us both out. And as I say, if you can take those hindsight guidances as something for us to work on. You know, I live and learn. This is by no means the perfect way to do it. It is just a way to do it. But yeah, Yuna is looking rough. But yeah, we're just going to finish out this fight shortly now, thank goodness. But yeah, once we get the cutscene, that's Trema done. And then we can start into actually progressing to the final dungeon and fighting the final boss, which is pretty epic. So I shall talk to you guys next time. Have a good one. Thank you.
You are the Paragon of pastlessness.
You're wrong. Although I've wished to be stronger, and I've wanted to change, I realized that losing my past would mean losing myself.
Tell me, High Summoner Yuna, where is the loss in that?